We're back. This is lesson 3 of the bonus copywriting module, and this lesson is all about getting the conversion. So I'm going to show you different tactics on how you can get the conversion in your writings. So whenever I do copywriting, one of the most important things I focus on is addressing the objections. So basically, whenever you're presenting an offer, there are reasons why someone is not going to sign up for your offer, or they're not going to sign up to buy your offer. So rather than hide from it, I rather just directly attack it. Like if someone doesn't want to buy because they think it's too expensive, then I'd rather spend some time in the copywriting to justify the price rather than just completely hide from it and ignore it. So that's why emails are really great with the LGE style, because it gives you a lot more time and space to overcome different objections. So let's take an example of solar energy, solar panels. Man, that's a really ugly picture. All right, so basically I would start off with writing down the top objections. So remember, the top objections why people don't buy, you should already have this if you filled out the customer avatar sheet. So how do you find objections once again? Well, one way I like to do it, the fastest 80-20 way, is to use Google. Use Google to find frequently asked questions. So in this case, I would Google frequently asked questions about solar energy. You could also do the different market research covered in the previous lessons, such as YouTube, Reddit, and Quora. But I'm going to show you an example right now. Solar energy frequently asked questions in Google. It's really that simple because someone already did the research. Like for me, I'm not gonna do original custom research if this campaign hasn't been proven yet. So here's an example what I found. Why should I go solar? So these are questions and objections that people already have. What is net metering? Okay, so let's look at some things that people would actually be concerned about. Okay, number 7 is a great one. Do my solar panels produce power when the sun isn't shining? What happens if there is snow on the solar panels? What are the financial and environmental benefits of solar energy? So I really like to go for the surface level objections. Something like net metering, no one's really asking that kind of question in my opinion. That's more like when you're really deep into it. But something like solar, how does solar impact my property values? I would absolutely, turn that answer into an email, because now people will want to sign up because there's a financial incentive, because it can impact their property values in a better way. So this is something I found while researching for online degree offer. So here's all the questions. What is an online course like? Will I be required to come to campus? When are online classes taught? Is there financial aid involved? These are real objections and questions people have about online degrees. So in a way, you could just think of your emails as answering each one of these questions and then linking it to the offer. So once again, write down the top objections. So when it comes to solar energy, here are 3 examples. Number 1, man, this dude looks kind of creepy. He's a little intense with his gaze here. So number 1, it costs too much money. Number 2, I don't know how to install it. Number 3, what happens when it's cloudy or rainy? So these are objections that if we don't answer these, then someone might not sign up. So number 1, use emails to kill the top objections. 2, so how do you actually kill their objections? You could either tell stories or you could share facts and statistics. And then finally, after you share the stories and share some facts and statistics, you link to an offer. You do a transition. So here's an example. I wrote this email to demonstrate these principles. Hey, first name. Solar energy works best if it's a bright and sunny day. But have you ever wondered what happens if it's a cloudy day or if it's rainy? Solar panels do work in cloudy weather, just not as well. They produce 10 to 25% of their capacity. It depends on the density of clouds, the type of solar panel. It's important to remember that one cloudy day isn't as important as the amount of sunshine you get over an entire year. One interesting fact is sometimes cloudy days can generate more power than an entire day of sunshine. This is due to an effect called the edge of cloud. This happens when the sun passes over the edges of clouds and magnifies the sunlight. In fact, cloudy San Francisco generates more power each year over the sunnier city of Sacramento. Are you ready to install solar energy in your home? Check out our best recommendation, solar energy savings. So man, yeah, dude, it literally took me like 5 minutes to write this email. But one thing I like to do when it comes to emails, I like to throw in did you know facts. Because this fact, when I read about it, it surprised me. I didn't know what this edge of cloud is, and I'm not making this up. This is an actual fact. So think about it. Someone comes in with the objection, man, I live in Chicago when it's cloudy and it's rainy all day. It's not going to work for me. But then they walk away with a new fact that showed that their belief was actually false. So they're gonna walk away thinking, hey, I live in a cloudy and a rainy day. Solar energy would actually work for me. And then at the end, you transition into, hey, well, you're interested in solar energy? Well, check it out. Sign up for this offer. Does this make sense, guys? Like, there's actually a purpose to each email. And the way I think about it is each email overcomes a different objection. So I wrote an email here to overcome the objection of rainy or cloudy emails. But my next email might be on something else, like how does solar energy affect the property value? Or is it better to rent or buy solar energy? So basically, you could think of it like maybe one landing page and one email or two emails is not enough to convince them. But if you're sending out 10 emails, now you have 10 different chances to convince someone. That's the power of this system. So you guys remember this guy, the whole video game designer. Okay, let's go back to that example. So one of the most common objections when it comes to becoming a video game designer is, can I make video games without a programming background? So once again, the way I do this is find a story or a statistic that proves that they can make video games without a programming background. So do you guys remember in the last lesson, the previous lesson, there was this comment where this person shared a story or example of how Scott, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy, was able to do it without any programming knowledge. And this was one of the top apps in the iPhone store. So boom, turn this into an email. This took me like 5 minutes to write. Hey, first name. One common question that we get about entering the video game industries is, what if I don't have any experience in programming? And notice I bolded it just for emphasis. Programming knowledge is useful and is something taught in different video game schools. What most people don't know is that you can design video games from scratch even if you don't have any programming knowledge. Five Nights at Freddy is one of the most popular independent games ever. The creator, Scott Cawthon, has zero programming knowledge. The entire game was built on the ClickFusion software. So with this, I actually Googled the story to make sure it was real. So it is real, and on top of that, I have additional information that he used the ClickFusion software. And I included this in this email. What is important to developing a game is understanding game theory and what makes a great game. Is this something that you're interested in? We've done our research and think that blank is the best school to learn game theory. Click here to learn about their program. So basically, this person, before they open the email, might have the objection that, man, I'm not a programmer. I don't know anything about programming. I can't become a video game designer. So you share a story. I shared a story, a fact that, hey, there's someone else that created one of the biggest independent video games of all time, and he's not a programmer. He used a piece of software to design it. However, what is important is understanding game theory, so that's how I transitioned it. It's important to understand game theory, and in fact, this school here is the best school for game theory. Boom, and someone signs up, right? And then you make like $30 or whatever the offer pays out. Does this make sense, guys? Like each of these emails has a story or a statistic that overcomes a false belief or an objection. This is, in my opinion, the best way to do emailing. Copywriting is also the ability to explain why you're better. So here's what I mean. I found this example while I was shopping for supplements the other day. I was looking for protein. Maybe you tried other vanilla flavor products before, but this is different. We don't use natural vanilla flavor. Why? Because it's not natural at all. It's usually made from various chemicals synthesized in a laboratory. Instead, our flavor comes from organic vanilla powder made from whole vanilla beans. We then add organic monk fruit to add subtle sweetness. It's a different taste because it's made from real food. And I have several opinions on this. Number one, everyone just says we use all natural. But man, if you spin the extra, like, added a few extra sentences or paragraphs that explains why you're better. Like, for example, this one explains why they're better because they go the extra mile and use a natural organic thing. And second, this person educates people because I think a lot of people didn't know that the vanilla flavors are actually chemicals synthesized in a laboratory. But what's interesting is by telling stories, you're telling these stories and you're explaining, that can actually help you not only increase conversion rates, but if you're doing like an e-commerce product, now you can actually increase your prices. You can jack up your price. And that is, going the extra mile and explaining. Here's another example. I call it explain why you're badass. How many of you guys have seen affiliate networks before? You should work with our affiliate network because we can give you the highest payouts. Every fucking affiliate network, affiliate manager is like, hey, we have the highest payouts and the most exclusive offers. Every single one of them. But imagine if there's an affiliate network that says, every network says they offer the highest payout, but we're the only ones that deliver. We don't waste money throwing fancy parties at conferences. We prefer working remote instead of paying overhead on fancy offices. Because we're so lean, we can afford to take a smaller profit margin and give you a higher payout. So imagine if a network says this. Now I'm starting to think about all these other networks that have these huge fucking fancy offices and that throw these extravagant parties. Man, I've thrown these parties before. They're not cheap, man. They're like, the budget affiliate networks have given me usually typically it's like $40,000, and I've walked by different offices, and these offices, like, man, 6 figures a month. Well, the money comes from somewhere, right? The money has to come from somewhere, and oftentimes that means, so you're implanting, kind of like Inception, you're implanting in their mind that, okay, well, these other networks, they can't really give me the highest payout because they have to pay for these parties, they have to pay for their marketing, they have to pay for the offices. Versus this guy, yeah, man, they don't throw fancy parties, they work remote, so they don't have a fancy office, so that gives them more profit margin to pass on to you. So that's what I mean. Explain in detail what separates your offer, your product from everyone else. This is very tactical, but clear communication. Clear communication. Don't try to be clever, guys. Don't use big fancy words. Use short sentences. Use plenty of spacing. You'll see a lot of copywriters, they don't write in paragraphs. They'll write like double space after each sentence because that's easier for the eyes. Because a lot of people are just ADD these days. Write on a 6th grade level. Once again, don't use big fancy words because, man, sometimes your audience might be international and they don't understand the big words. So there's one app I really like. It's called Hemingway app, after the writer Ernest Hemingway. So whatever you write, just copy and paste it into Hemingway app. It'll tell you what grade reading level you're writing at, and it'll also give you different advice like, hey, this could be broken into 2 sentences. You should use this word instead of this word. So just use that app, Hemingway app. Another tactic for conversion is to build rapport. What is rapport? A harmonious and sympathetic relationship. People understand each other's emotions and care. So basically, how do I explain rapport, man? It's like, I remember I just came back from Traffic Conversion Summit and I met someone and we're just like talking business, and then later on the topic came up and I found out he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and I do jiu-jitsu, and we just spent like literally the next hour and a half just talking about jiu-jitsu. And by the time we left, like, we had a lot of rapport with each other. I mean, I didn't do that on purpose, but it just became, before it was just like business only. But now, because we built rapport, it's like, dude, if this guy needs a favor on anything, I want to go the extra mile for him. Why rapport? So we can build rapport in the copywriting. So basically, rapport builds trust. And when people trust you more, you get the conversion. So how do you build rapport in terms of copywriting? So To me, rapport and copywriting is all about empathy and showing that you understand. Like, I get it, I feel you. So there's a lot of different phrases I like. I like as you know. I also like the phrase I understand because. So here's an example. Are you frustrated by how high your energy bill is each month? I understand because my family of 3 was spending $300 a month on power and we barely had the AC on. It wasn't until we installed solar energy panels in our home that we finally got our energy bill under $50 a month. So you see, by throwing in the I understand, it shows empathy, but it also builds rapport because now I'm not a faceless company that's recommending you different offers. Now I become a fleshed out person who's your friend, right? That I've been there, done that. I know what it's like to spend $300 a month on power. So it's very important whenever you can to try to build rapport into your copywriting. Urgency. Urgency is when a buyer feels like they need to take. Urgency are different ways to really push someone to take action due to time. So different examples here. Enrollment for next semester ends in 5 days. So if you're promoting education offer, you want to get them to take action immediately. So if you threaten to take it away by saying, hey, the enrollment ends in 5 days, they're more compelled to take action. Request your car insurance quote today. Most companies are running a Mother's Day special right now. So that's a great one, throwing in different holidays, time constraints based on holidays, because there's a Mother's Day special and everyone knows like once Mother's Day is gone, the offer's gone. And something else is apply now for solar energy. The tax rebates may be expiring by the end of the year. So now they feel more compelled to apply now because the tax rebates might be gone soon. So always try to see if you can add in some urgency. And one tip is when you add in urgency, make it believable. Because I'll see like guys all the time adding like fake urgency, fake scarcity, but try to make it believable. Give a reason. Scarcity is another good one. Urgency and scarcity, in a way, they go hand in hand. Scarcity is the feeling that a product or a service is in short supply and might run out. So man, anytime you book a hotel, like this is a screenshot from booking.com. Anytime you try to book a hotel, man, Booking, they go, how do they add in scarcity? Well, you can see in the first one, it was booked 7 times today. On the bottom, it was booked 26 times. You missed it. We reserved our last room available in this property. But then you look at the bottom, in high demand, only 4 rooms left on this site. So basically, if you don't book your room right now, there's only 4 rooms left and it's high demand. Someone else might buy it. So that's going to compel me to take action. By the way, Booking is a great website to just study different landing page tactics. Because you look here, look at all this fucking social proof, the amount of social proof, the amount of urgency, the amount of scarcity. Look at the colors they use. Man, Booking is a really great company to study conversion tactics from. So here's how you can apply it in your campaign. Apply now for the online nursing program. The program only accepts batches of 90 students per semester. Interested in applying? The blank scholarship is only available for 5 students. Apply now to see if you qualify. You can get a lot more aggressive. You could say like, the program only accepts batches of 90 students per semester and there's only 3 seats left. So that's an example. You want to get a little bit more aggressive with their scarcity. All right, that's it, guys. So for this lesson, we covered like different tactics on how you can actually get the conversion, and I showed you different examples of emails on how these 2 lessons tie together, how we can find the false objections, and just remember, you kill it. You kill the objection with stories and facts. All right, let's go to the next module.